Hello, and welcome to Japan Lyric Room. In this show, we like to really savor the lyrics of Japanese songs and, unpack the meaning behind the phrases and the unique cultural backgrounds in a way that's easy to understand.
And today, we're going to be looking at a song that's seen this huge global resurgence recently. It's Miki Matsubara's city pop masterpiece, Mayonaka no Door, or Stay With Me. The appeal of this song, it goes way beyond just the great melody or that sophisticated city pop vibe. It's really how the lyrics manage to capture this very particular emotional subtlety from late 70s Japan.
It's so true. You have listeners all over the world trying to understand these Japanese lyrics and connecting with them so deeply. So our mission today is to figure out how this song communicates heartbreak, because it's not through some dramatic, shouting from the rooftops confession. It's all about atmosphere, tiny details, and seasonal memories. It's a real lesson in understated emotion.
That's a great way to put it. It's fundamentally different from the kind of heartbreak songs we might be used to, say, in Western pop, which are often very direct, like "you broke my heart" or "I can't go on." Her heartbreak isn't shouted. It's painted through these, like you said, tiny details, seasonal memory, and the quiet distance that's grown between two people.
Okay, so let's unpack that. To build that atmosphere you're talking about, the season the song is set in plays a huge role, right? Winter is such a crucial emotional backdrop here.
Absolutely. You can feel this chilly winter air throughout the entire song. And winter, as a season, it often symbolizes loss, a deep sense of longing, and most importantly, it highlights a warmth that just isn't there anymore.
That feeling of an absence of warmth.
Yeah.
Because you're in this cold season, it makes you remember the warmth you used to have. The warmth of being together in a warm room. All of that feels so much more intense by contrast.
Exactly. Winter creates this kind of emotional vacuum. It gives the listener this image of someone standing all alone in the cold air. And that cold is what makes the plea in the chorus that "Stay With Me" feel so desperate and so real. The choice of season is already part of the emotional storytelling.
So now that we've set that big picture, that seasonal backdrop, let's get into the heart of Miki Matsubara's understated emotion. We're going to savor 7 specific expressions rich with Japanese nuance that I think make this song so timeless.
Yes, let's do it. I think the choice of these 7 phrases really is the essence of Japanese songwriting culture.
First up, an everyday detail that becomes an emotional trigger. The line is, "On your gray jacket, I recognize a coffee stain."
When I first heard that, I just thought, wow, why start a song about a breakup with such a boring detail?
Right, a coffee stain. It's the opposite of romantic. It's a little mistake, a mess. You'd think an American pop song might go with something more dramatic, like, "I remember the sparkle in your eyes," or "our first passionate kiss."
But Matsubara deliberately chooses something so personal, so tiny. Something probably only the two of them would even know about. In Japanese lyricism, it's common to use an object or a scene as an emotional trigger rather than just explaining the feeling in words.
So what that means is, instead of being told, "I loved you," the listener sees that stain and instantly feels the shared history. You imagine them at a cafe, a casual conversation, maybe his embarrassed face when he spilled it. You feel that intimacy without a single explicit word.
That's it exactly. The stain isn't just a stain, it becomes a vivid snapshot of their shared history. And the pang of pain she feels seeing that jacket is transmitted directly to the listener. It's a way of using fewer words to evoke a much deeper emotion.
That's a perfect analysis. Okay, let's move to the second one. This ties into what we were just saying about the season. The line is, "That season is now right before my eyes." It just says "that season," but the listener already knows exactly when it was and what it felt like.
This is where the Japanese cultural view of seasons comes into play. In Japan, a season isn't just a marker of time. It carries this incredibly strong emotional and poetic weight.
Yeah, you hear "that season" and you instantly understand it refers to a past winter, a time that was beautiful but is now gone, filled with cold memories.
Precisely. When people look back on the past, it's often tied to the nostalgia of a specific season, the cold air, the returning memories, and the loneliness that comes with it. The songwriter doesn't need to specify which season. The listener instinctively shares the emotional weight carried by those words.
The richness of not spelling everything out, the ambiguity becomes a sort of personal key that unlocks each listener's own most poignant memories.
Yes, and that ambiguity might be one reason the song is so loved worldwide. It leaves room for anyone from any culture to project their own that season onto it.
All right, number 3, which leads into the song's title and the core of the chorus, "Stay With Me Knocking on the Midnight Door." This is where that sense of wintry desperation really explodes, isn't it? It feels so urgent.
The door motif is used so often and so symbolically in Japanese lyrics. It's almost never a physical entrance. It symbolizes an emotional boundary drawn between a person and a loved one.
And the fact that the knocking happens at midnight is also really meaningful.
Midnight is that time when, daily logic fades away. It's when vulnerability, unresolved feelings, and a sense of urgency are at their most raw. So she's not literally knocking on his front door, she's knocking on the door to his heart. It's this desperate, vulnerable attempt to cross that barrier and get back inside their relationship.
It's a fantastic interpretation. It sounds like her last stand, trying to break back into his emotional world. It's a drama happening inside her head secretly in the cold of the winter night.
And it's that desperation that makes a simple "please stay with me" hit so hard.
Okay, number 4. Holding on to our shared moments. The choice of the word date, meaning to hold or to embrace, feels more emotional than physical here.
That's a very sharp observation. Date does mean to embrace, but the poetic technique here is focusing on the abstract act of embracing the moment itself, instead of describing the memory in detail.
So she's trying to physically hold on to a feeling. It seems like a very gentle act, trying to protect a happy memory from the pain of the present.
Yes, that gentle ambiguity and the choice of words to convey emotional warmth are hallmarks of Japanese love songs. The feeling isn't explained, it's shown through a poetic metaphor, which allows it to seep more deeply into the listener's heart. Embracing the moment is also an attempt to freeze that love in her memory forever.
Next, let's touch on the part where she talks about why they broke up. Number 5, your heart that drifted away. The softness of this phrasing it really speaks to that subtlety in Japanese songwriting.
This is where that major cultural difference with Western pop songs really comes through.
In a Western song, you'd likely get a more direct, maybe even accusatory line, something like, "You betrayed me," or "You walked away," which clearly defines a victim and a perpetrator.
But this lyric is different. It doesn't say, "You hurt me." It describes his heart as something that just gently drifted away. It's framed almost like a natural phenomenon, something that just happened and maybe wasn't anyone's fault.
Not blaming anyone, just quietly and profoundly acknowledging the fact of the hurt.
Exactly. This phrasing reflects a cultural tendency in Japan to avoid direct confrontation or intense emotional clashes. By describing the emotional loss from the subjective, poetic distance, the pain is communicated more quietly, but perhaps even more deeply.
And now for the expression in this song that I find the most unique and memorable. Number 6. I still hadn't forgotten. I kept it warm. This isn't just about remembering. It feels like an active act of maintaining love. It's such a distinct metaphor.
This keeping it warm metaphor is just beautiful, isn't it? It's a uniquely Japanese and incredibly rich way of expressing that you're treasuring a memory, a feeling, or a relationship. It's an almost tactile image.
It's not just the passive state of "I didn't forget." The active verb, "kept it warm," is added, which lets the listener imagine just how carefully and tenderly she treated that love.
And remember the setting, it's winter. The air outside is cold, but inside her heart, she's been gently keeping the feeling of this broken love alive with her own body heat. It evokes this image of care, tenderness, and emotional preservation even after the relationship is over. It's so romantic.
Picturing that is it's heartbreaking. That one metaphor vividly paints a picture of her devotion and her lonely hours after the breakup.
You could say that the word warm here shows her mature love, that even if the love is in the past, its value hasn't diminished. In fact, it's being carefully protected.
Okay, finally, number 7. A hole opened in my heart. This translates pretty directly to "a hole in my heart" in English, which is a common phrase. But are there differences in the nuance?
The words are similar, for sure, but the emotional tone can be different. In English, "a hole in my heart" often carries the sense of violent, dramatic despair. But the Japanese phrase, "kokoro ni ana ga aita," more often carries a feeling of quiet resignation.
I see. So it's not a burst of intense grief, but a calm, simple acknowledgement of an emotional void.
Exactly. It paints a picture of a mature woman accepting the pain of her loss. Instead of putting all her emotions on display, she's just observing the fact that a hole is now there, and perhaps she is learning to live with it. That simplicity actually makes the depth of the pain feel even more profound.
So what does this all mean? We've really savored the lyrics of Mayonaka no Door today. The reason this song resonates with listeners across the world and remains a timeless classic really seemed to come down to this masterful, understated emotion.
I think so. It's a masterpiece of Japanese songwriting. It tells a grand story of heartbreak, using nothing but a coffee stain, a returning season, a knock at midnight, a heart that quietly drifts away, and a love that was kept warm. It doesn't explain emotion, it shows it, and it lets the listener experience it for themselves. That is the very definition of the quiet beauty of Japanese lyricism.
And after this incredible look into these lyrics, we want to leave you with something to think about.
We saw how Miki Matsubara used an everyday detail to carry so much weight. So what about in your own culture? When you think about expressing loss or heartbreak, what mundane objects or specific seasonal references, instead of grand words, carry that kind of unspoken emotional weight for you? Try to find the coffee stain in your own heart.
Thank you so much for listening today.
We're always picking apart various Japanese songs and updating our blog with detailed lyric analyses.
If you want to savor these lyrics even more, please check out the blog from the link in the description. We have materials there that go even deeper into what we discussed today.
And if you enjoyed the show, we'd love it if you'd subscribe or follow us.
Please leave us a comment with your thoughts, or if you have a request for a song you'd like us to analyze next, your request might just become our next exploration.
We'll see you next time.
This was Japan Lyric Room.